Alright, morning guys. It is the Sunday. I'm here for finals. So it's time just to wrap up this thing and see how we actually do. Last night I ended up going to sleep at 2:19. So definitely that diazide was wearing off and I was starting to retain more fluids and really fill out. And I went at the gym. That explains like this crazy pump that I had. But it's still looked good, it still looked hard. So using that diazide and having that fatty meal, I didn't drop too much. I only dropped 3 pounds. So I woke up at like 216 today. Really full. I mean, I don't need to like fill out anymore. It's just more maintaining it today. So I'm not going to do anything really crazy with food. The fluids, those will be different. So I did take another quarter tab of 37.525 milligram diazide, because I just want to get really dry as possible. So plan for day is just to, for most of my meals are going to be 50 to 60 grams of carbs and 30 grams of protein. And I'll probably leave some fats out just because I don't think I need that much calorie dense stuff today. Just keep digestion moving really well. Stick around 6 ounces of water with my meals and no water between. And for this first meal, just doing chicken, 4 ounces of chicken, 180 grams of rice, and 50 grams of spinach. So we'll start there, guys, and just see how hard and dry that I get, and just bring it to finals as nasty as possible. So I did run out of rice, and you know, if you're out somewhere else, you don't have kitchen access, and you maybe just have a microwave. Whole Foods has these organic white rice. They're already cooked, they're just frozen, so you can just microwave it or just let it thaw in the fridge, and that way you don't have to like boil rice on the stove or something. So very convenient, great thing to know about. This one was at Whole Foods. I know HEB has them too, or if you're not in Texas, like other grocery stores have them. HEB is our grocery store. But yeah, great thing to have to know about home prep. All right, what's up guys? It's 9:30 now. I'm about to move on to meal 2, so I haven't had any water between. I weighed myself and took some pics, and my weight came down from 216 to 215. So it's not quite as much of a drop as what I would be hoping for, and I know it's like TMI, but it's very pertinent, is that I also had like a bowel movement as well, which is, I haven't really talked much about it on these last few days, but it's so important to make sure you're having good bowel function and you are eliminating just to keep your waist really, really small. Because if you're all bloated, it's so hard to control and stage and keep your waist pulled in. So that's an important thing to note. So I know like some of that scale weight that dropped was that, and I'm just not peeing that much. So the sodium from last night's is holding really well weight-wise. So I think it was, you know, with taking diazide, you should get a good impact within an hour, and that effect should last for 3 hours and fade off towards like the 6 hour mark. So I went ahead, and with this meal too, I'm going to take another quarter tab of diazide. I think it's a good decision because I'm just assessing my physique. Like I'm definitely plenty full, but I know I can get a little drier. But I need the diazide to help push out that extra sodium so I can start dropping some more water. So for the meal though, just like I said before, I'm sticking with 50 grams of carbs, 30 grams of protein. I am going to add some fats to this meal. I don't think it's going to, you know, I think my conditioning will be good, and it'll just help me hold a little bit of fullness as well. And I noticed my appetite starting to increase too. So I think those are all good signs that I could add, you know, I'm going to add 8 grams of fat in, which won't have a huge impact. So I'll put this meal down and take my diazide. Just do 6 ounces of water with it, and still plan to do no water between meals. Assess the physique and keep moving forward. All right guys, so I'm about to head over to the show. I'll have meal 3. I'm just gonna eat it on the road, I think. And same thing, my chicken, 180 grams of rice, 4 ounces of chicken, some almond butter, and just keep the water at 6 ounces with my meals and no water between. Look really good, just have good fullness, look really, really tight right now. So just trying to maintain this look and ride it right into finals for the show. All right guys, for all the whole Dallas show, the finals, I didn't get any more film.
because I was just so focused on getting out on stage. So I just want to kind of give you all an overview of how I continued out the rest of the meal plan and fluids for finals. So basically I got to the show and I had to go tan again, and my plan was around 1:30, with being on stage probably around 2:33, is just to have another meal that I was doing previously. So I was doing it was like at 12 o'clock, right before I tanned, I had that meal 3 that you saw, and then I tanned, and then I was gonna have meal 4, which was my pancake that I did yesterday. And the day before, I did 75 grams of carbohydrate from it. And I just felt like, I didn't need that much today. I was so full from the night before. Like you saw my weight the day, the night of prejudging, I was up to like 219, which was like super full. So I just needed to hold it, and something that wasn't gonna bloat me much. So I did 50 grams of carbohydrates from that pancake mix, 20 grams of almond butter, 20 grams of jam, and I salted it pretty heavy. And I used quite a bit of salt because the salt will pull some fluids into the intravascular space, and you also need a good amount of salt for delivering carbohydrates. So there's a purpose to that. And that pancake is really dense, so the volume to it is small, so it's not something that's going to be having to eat a large food volume. So got that down, and basically just kept water out until it was time to pump up. And I just, when I'm backstage, I'm just assessing my look. There's mirrors, and I'm kind of watching myself. If I'm looking drier and harder, just continue the plan. Sometimes I might see like your veins are starting to fade, maybe because it's cold, but I know if you get moving around, they'll start popping again. Or if you're sitting for a while, you stand up and you'll see your veins run down the legs, and you're like, okay, I'm still hydrated enough to where I can get a pump. And I think that's a big issue. You start cutting too much water out, that's what you'll notice. Like your vascularity drops way off, and you'll hard to get any veins coming out. So that's when it is a good time to bring a little bit of water back, just to give you something in the vascular space. A lot of guys post-show, they'll like go out and they eat and drink, and all of a sudden you're like covered in veins, right? And you're like, how the hell did I not go on stage like this? I'm veined out everywhere. And I guarantee it's not what you ate. It wasn't that, oh man, I should be eating pizza and ice cream to fill out, and that's what gives me pop. It's always the fluid. You've had plenty of sodium probably all day and carbs all day, but when you finally started drinking water again, you brought fluid into the vascular space, and now you're covered in veins. So you need a certain amount of fluid in you, but you don't want to overdo it, because you see these people that are like, take their pictures and their selfies in the mirror, and they're covered in veins, but they're not paying attention to like your lower back, hamstring, glutes, because you'll start getting that water film over them too, even though you're like super vascular. So, and you will see that on stage lights, and you'll have guys like, oh man, you didn't peak right. You should have looked like that on stage. It's like, it's not the same. You need to see that same look under stage lights, and you will see the difference. It's much better to be drier and a little less vascular than have this like crazy vascular look, but you're holding water on your glutes. So anyway, that's my little take on water. But what I do for pumping up is I basically wait for, we were all about to get lined up, and so I'm waiting like maybe 15 minutes before I'm about to walk on stage, because your pump does fade fast. And all I do is get some chairs and do push-ups between. That's plenty. For me, I want to pump my chest. That'll put blood in my triceps and shoulders, which gives me a really, really round look. And that's all I do. So I'm not doing all this band work and stuff. And my trick that I like is just to do about 2 tablespoons of honey while I'm pumping up. Just some straight glucose. And then I'll drink 4 ounces of water with salt in it. Just straight sodium. So just bring a bunch of sodium, glucose, and water in, and that should give you enough pop to go out on stage. And that wrapped up my plan. That was what I did. I went out in finals on the stage, and going out there for finals, I was so confident in my look. Like I wasn't nervous at all. I was it was enjoyable to walk out there, which in New York, it wasn't like that at all. Like, I just knew something was off and I just wouldn't feel confident in my look. And when you walk out on stage like that without that confidence, it's a terrible feeling. And I just had fun. Like, finals were fun. We got to go off stage, walk around in the audience. It was just like, it was a really good time. And the satisfaction of bringing myself in and knowing that I brought like my best to stage that I ever have was so rewarding. It was more rewarding than the placing. Obviously, I got 5th place at finals, which we train to get 1st place. We train to win and go to the Olympia. So the placing isn't what I wanted, but I was okay with it. There was a competitive lineup. Guys looked good, and I think we each had things that were really stand out, and I'm okay with where I placed because I brought my best, and no placing is going to take that away from me. And I felt really, really good about it. So that wraps it up. And after finals, the first thing I try to get in is like 30 ounces of Pedialyte, just replace fluids, because if you've been using diuretics that have been pushing a lot of sodium out and pushing a lot of water out, a whole lot of water, first thing you want to get in is just rehydrate. So get some Pedialyte in, then also just drinking straight water from there. Don't try not to do too many fluids that have a lot of potassium, because if you are using Diazide, it is potassium sparing. So you're pushing sodium and retaining potassium, so you don't want to just be taking more potassium, because that can actually have a reverse effect as well, and you can start retaining more, and it can make you start vomiting as well too. So you just have to be very careful with that. So that wrapped up my show day. So my next step from here is just to review my stage picks, see what I can really work on, and decide on what my plan is from there. Do I want to do a show? Do I want to go in off season? Like, what's going to make me my best? And what I know I have to keep in mind is the Olympia. That is the long-term goal, is to get to Olympia and do my best possible. So what does that look like for me? Well, that's what I need to find out. So just thank you guys so much for following along this whole journey. I've gotten awesome feedback, had people come up to me show telling me, just thanking me for putting it out, but really thank you. Thank you for watching the videos, and thanks to my fiance Renee, because she's the one that films all of them, puts all the videos together, does all my content, and she does an excellent job. And I couldn't even have done this without her. So thanks to her and the quality that she's able to do too. And thanks to you guys for just all the comments and support. It means so much, and hearing that feedback, it keeps us pushing to make more videos and more content for y'all. So thanks again. Any questions on my show day recap, just leave it in the comments below. Make sure you check out my blog, because I did put out my whole diet on the blog. Everything from the fluids, when I took my diuretics, what I did for my meals, like everything's laid out there for you guys. So you could review back from the days leading up to the show and see how I really ran my plan exactly. And of course, if you want any type of coaching services from me, my website has all that there too. So thank you guys again, and I will talk to you soon.